You could now see that it says live up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to be caught out this time.
Okay, good. Just making sure, Thomas. Just making sure.
Of his new book.
What? What are you doing?
What is who doing?
You. Why were you playing my own voice back to me?
Because I'd opened the YouTube feed and I hadn't muted it, so it was echoing out.
Yeah,
And then
I did the same thing. It was both of us.
Yeah, you're working with the right pair of oafs.
I'm not even going to say what you two are because YouTube would ban me from the platform. Welcome to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we use our petty and ill-informed opinions to cover a varied range of topics. Joining me, as always, Niki.
Hey.
And in lieu of Kevin, Tom.
With respect to the gentleman who's not with us, yes, I'm here too.
And speaking of Kevin, as we mentioned last week on the show, he's been having some health difficulties. He went in for surgery on Friday, and unfortunately, he passed. On to recovery. He's absolutely fine.
You had me going there for a minute, you complete git. Oh my God.
I just let that hang there for a second.
He's supposed to be home today, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a new word. There's yet to be a word invented to describe how evil you are, Richard, but you are that monstrous and no mistake.
Pretty evil person. For no reason. Evil for no reason.
Bad.
I don't. I let the joke stand for the appropriate amount of time, and then I dropped the punchline. It was perfectly executed, if I do say so myself.
It was a very long 1 second, I can tell you that.
Yeah, just hung there. And everyone was like, and then boom. So, yeah, he's absolutely fine. He should be back next week. If he's not, well, I'll have to look about replacing him permanently with Tom over here, our vegan from down south. That was my London accent.
That was really bad. You did a You did a good job at being Southern the other night, but that was bad.
Yeah, I can't do.
Yeah, maybe it was Southern US and Southern England at the same time. It kind of failed.
Yeah, I freely admit it.
That's the pot calling the kettle black. My accents are notoriously crap. Except for when I do Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element. I got a compliment for that today.
Ruby,
what is everybody...
I love The Fifth... Don't you dare...
What is everyone's obsession with that shite film? Seriously.
It's a great film. Shut up, Lulu Multipass.
I'll tell you what Ruby Rod would say to your description of it as a shite film. He'd look at you and he'd say... and he'd be right, and no mistake.
That's right.
Whatever. Okay, I'm not having this same argument again with you, Niki. But, so, did we all have a good week? What have we been up to?
I've been working. No, I haven't. Haha, we had an ice storm. I was off.
Tommy boy, Thursday. What have you been doing?
Nothing much beyond working. We had a lovely day on Friday because it was National Maths Day, raising money for National Number Day, raising money for the NSPCC. And what was great was managed to find. We looked at the Fibonacci sequence. I told them how it worked. You add the previous two numbers, and they then, you can draw it as a spiral. Well, we did that and then turned that into sort of animals like little worms or snakes or mermaids even. And yeah, it was just by following the Fibonacci sequence in the golden spiral, it's called golden spiral. So we had a lot of fun doing that. And some of my kids are still some of my kids, but I've got so many wonderful children in my class. And it's a really, really nice. We have a really, really nice time overall. You've still got the man, the machine, system, I've got to do a shed load. The kids have got to produce some masterpieces in their writing over the next 2 days, and that's got to be graded very well, or I'm in trouble, basically. So you've always got it all to prove, but I really can't complain. Life could be far worse.
Good. Glad to hear it. So everyone's okay. Got an update from a story we did 4 weeks ago. Well, it's an ongoing story, really. The legend of Glenn Cerio, the First Amendment auditor from Washington that just can't keep his mouth shut.
Or keep himself out of jail.
So 4 weeks ago, he was arrested for trespassing after he went to a police station and made an absolute arse of himself. A week later, he returned to the same police station and was arrested again. This time, we all thought, all of us that was on that live stream that night on Irish Demons channel, thought he got popped for criminal trespassing, which is what comes after normal trespassing. But no, it turned out he was arrested for felony harassment. We all wondered what was going on. And then the footage was released finally this week. I believe the Plot Hole released it first. Don't know that for sure. But anyway, we're going to watch Irish Demons channel. We should be getting a check from him soon, the amount we plugged him. So here we go. It's
video coming at you from Dallas, Texas. And as you can see, I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over. So while Team Skeptics out there scrubbing my jocks, I decided to throw together this little video for you. And massive props go out to Johnny O from the Plot Hole for gathering all this information. Huge amount of hard work, so make sure and go to his channel and give him the love he deserves. Channel link in the description down below. So this brings us back to the notorious live arrest that we caught when I was on a live stream a few weeks back. And now we got all the angles. Ugh, more angles of Glenn Cerio.
Or 200.
We're only going to watch the first minute because that's when it happens.
I thought we watched this.
What's the password?
We watched a live stream.
Do you mind if I know the password?
Bottom right.
Right.
Hello, sir.
So you see that there? That's what he got arrested for.
For what? Stopping people?
No, wait for it because Demon's going to slow it down.
So right there was the action that we saw that actually led to the arrest. So the officer claimed that Glenn had jerked his hand out of his pocket in a fast motion towards his face, and that gave him fear for his life. Glenn had mentioned in the past that he was going to arm himself to protect against the police officers. So it was pretty reasonable that a police officer in a vulnerable situation like that would think that perhaps he might be armed. Now let's zoom in and watch it in slow-mo.
LinkedIn sales
really
helps me
that
build relationships virtually.
How do you
I don't
have 10
mind.
million ads and I never have ads?
You've got premium.
No, I do not, I swear. I ain't paying premium. What are you talking about?
Yeah, see?
What a dick.
Slow motion, boom.
I think it was abundantly clear from that piece of footage that he was doing that to try to get a reaction. And boy, did he get one.
Luna, show him what's up. Do a 200.
So there you go. That's what he was arrested for. That the police officer felt like his life was in danger, so they busted him for felony harassment. I'm not sure how I feel. Might have been a slight overreaction from the police there.
No, he just needs to stay in jail. Why aren't they... Okay, I have a question. I know I'm American, but they should be able to get him on being mentally unstable and check him in someplace.
Well, the problem, as I understand it, COVID has massively backlogged your entire criminal justice system, and they just don't have the room. That's why he's being allowed so many continuances, because he had 3 court cases this week. All 3 were continued, and they're just doing everything in their power to keep people out of jail.
Okay.
And I assume the same for mental.
My thing is it wouldn't be going to jail. He would be going to a mental facility, because he's shown enough that he is not stable. I mean, he has an entire department who has a restraining order against him. He's obviously a danger to himself or possibly others. They should be able to just institutionalize him.
it's got to the point where you just look at him and say, "This dude needs help."
Yeah,
Mm.
100%. And I mean, even if I understand that they want to put people in jail, but you can't convince me that he's not doing it to get a meal and a warm bed.
Yeah, I mean, he went to court on yesterday, on Friday, and he was wearing those exact same clothes that he was in that video that he was busted 2 weeks ago. So he might just be trying to get a warm bed for the night. As I've said before, Washington is a very liberal state. They do try to keep people out of jail as much as possible. I tend to agree that mental health facility might be better suited for him, because we make a big deal about him being the worst, but Glenn Cerio is far from the worst auditor. I mean, all he really does is scream obscenities at people, which is very terrible, don't get me wrong. But compared to some of them, like News Now Houston, who is a convicted pedophile, or Auditing America, who is a convicted domestic abuser, or what's his Minnesota Guardian bloke who just got popped for tasering that woman and kidnapping and sexually molesting her. Allegedly, he hasn't been convicted yet. You know, Glenn Serio's never done anything violent in his entire life. He doesn't have much of a record. He is just an awful human being, but not that awful, if you know what I mean. He's just a wanker, basically. Anyone? No? Dead air?
No, you're right. He's you're absolutely right. He is just a wanker, but I really think that he needs help.
Yeah.
Can he be both? A wanker?
Absolutely. You can absolutely be mentally ill and be a wanker at the same time, because not all mentally ill people are wankers.
Well, there's so many different forms of mental illness. You know,
that's very true.
Depressed, people can be, you know, bipolar, people can be extremely anxious and irritable, people can have anger management. And this guy's particular form of mental illness is that he is able to remain lucid, but exceptionally provocative, and he has this compulsion to be provocative that he cannot resist.
Yeah.
And it's an
I think he can't resist. I think he can't resist a warm bed and the attention. That's just me. I really think that he does this because he doesn't have any other way of, you know, this is just how he gets arrested so he can get a warm bed and some food. I hate to say that, but you can't convince me that he's not out there provoking people just because, you know, he gets A, attention, and B, a warm bed. Like, basically, since nothing else is happening, he's going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
there's no end in sight. Exactly. He either needs to go to jail for a good long time, which I can't believe he hasn't, because when he's had that many, you know, brushes with crime, sooner or later they've got to just keep you in there. He's shown that he's a repeat offender, and he's going to continue to do so.
Well, his case yesterday was a deferred prosecution. He was criminally trespassed and obstruction of justice. And they said, as long as you stay out of trouble for 6 months, we won't pursue these charges. He managed to make 5 months and then got arrested twice.
Yeah.
But his lawyer said yesterday at the trial that he had no idea that Glenn had been arrested twice, which I do not believe that for 1 second.
Right.
But that's how they got a continuance on that case. That's now going to be done in March. It's so weird because he had like 4 or 5 cases this week, and they've all just been cancelled or continued. It's just weird, you know. Just get it over with. It's got to be a waste of your tax dollars at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the update on Glenn Cerio. Tom, I believe you wanted to talk about your tattoos.
Yeah. Well, in a couple of weeks, I'm getting. I mean, I should have done this ages ago, maybe, but I'm getting tattoos on both biceps of our son's birthdays in Roman numerals.
I love it.
Beautiful.
It's about this. It's now about deciding the font.
Papyrus.
Times New Roman, it's got to be.
Comic Sans Serif.
Oh,
You
no.
monster!
I've got a friend at work who like if you make any resource in Comic Sans, she'll like sue you. It makes her skin crawl. So no, it's not going to be Comic Sans. The two leading ones at the moment are one in Blade Runner font and one in the font of an industrial metal album from almost, it can't be 30 years ago. It is from 1993, which is almost 30 years ago.
Right.
The album is I can't paste an image in the YouTube chat, can I?
No, you can send it to me and I can share it.
Okay. Well, I can show you one of those. Right. Give me a tick and I'll do that. Do you want it in Discord or Messenger?
Discord.
Okay. I'm on the
Cheers,
case.
champ.
So this is actually, unless you know what, if I've made a mistake with the dates, you can tell me and Luke can all laugh at me. Let's hope I haven't. Let's see. So hang on. Where are you git? I haven't messaged you for a long time. And
just send it in the group with me and Niki.
Okay.
Always got to overcomplicate things. Yeah, okay. I don't speak Roman numerals, so I've got no idea. I do have a friend that's a lawyer, though. Maybe I'll ask him. They have to speak Latin.
Well,
he's Danish, though, so maybe it's Danish Latin. I don't know what they speak over there.
Danish Latin.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Could you share that, maybe?
Yeah, I'm doing it now. It takes like a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Calm your tits.
Ethiopian children have better internet service than him.
Yeah.
Right, there it is. So that's the first day is the 18th, which is X10, V's 5, III is 3. So that's 18th of day of the 12th month. That's X is 10, II is 12 is 2, so that's 12.
You realise that you're releasing your kids' birthdays on the internet right now?
No, you're releasing my kids' How dare you? I'll see you in court, you bastard. Yeah, I trapped him. Boom, got him. No.
Well done, Tom. I fell for that like the idiot I am.
Well, hopefully the rest of the... Yeah, but I just confessed up to it. No, being recorded as well, so I ain't got a leg to stand on. No, there they are. But, well, people would have to be clever, and I'm banking on people being clever enough to... not clever enough to read Roman numerals. So, yeah.
Luckily for you, there's only like 10 people that listen to this show. So.
We're like the guys in People Just Do Nothing. Do you know that show, Richard?
Yeah, I do.
We're those guys. I'm proud. So yeah, that's the idea.
That's a good plan. It looked really good.
I think. Oh, thanks. So the idea is I'll have that one on one bicep and one on the other, but one will probably be in that font. The other will be in the Blade Runner font.
Oh, you're going to have one of them, like a tribal thing on your upper arm?
No, the other one isn't tribal. The other one is, God, I really have made it, but this was sent to me.
Thanks, Rod, and we appreciate you.
This was sent to me in Discord, and I came out of Discord and then went back in to send it to you. I'm a muppet. Right there. This one is not my kids' birthdays, but that is an example of the Blade Runner font, which I think includes, and the Roman numerals being M, V, X, and I. And they all look quite distinctive. There are also C and D, but my kids' birthdays don't use those numerals C or D.
There you go.
What's
Which
your
the-
other tattoo of?
My existing one.
Yeah, does it say slutty on the back of your lower back, or
No, it says
juicy right across your ass cheek?
no.
Oof. No,
It's-
he's very
it's- no, you're
definite
com-
about that.
You're completely
I think
wrong.
he protests too much, if I'm honest there.
What is it?
It's exactly that across my inner thigh, silly.
It says juicy
Um,
across your inner thigh. Love it.
No, it's not. What it is, it's you won't like it. It's the logo of my favourite sports team, which happens to be the New England Patriots American Football Club. And
Nice.
I got that done behind my my right shoulder. Well, my right, your left, and I got it when they won their first Super Bowl, I think. And
You mean when they were given their first Super Bowl, the cheating feckers?
they weren't given their first one. Oh, you
Not their first one.
Just
Okay.
all the ones after.
All
that.
the ones after.
they were if they cheated in the first one, it was in the divisional playoff game against the Oakland Raiders with the tuck rule fumble, and the NFL changed the rule for it, I think, after the season, because it was officially not a fumble because his arm was going forward. But
No, it was clearly a fumble. He dropped the ball. That's the definition of a fumble. Raiders should have run that match.
Well, it
Yep.
depends if you're. There's a whole thing about knees being down and whether they're in control of the ball when they went down.
No,
Yeah,
the
that's
only
all
way
fine.
it should be an incomplete pass is if it's left his hand when he's thrown it and then it gets knocked down. If it's still in his hand, it's a fumble. That should be the rule.
you actually sound like you've seen it.
I have seen, everyone's seen the tuck rule. It's up there
I
with,
I'm kidding.
oh, what's that other bullshit play the Patriots did? I
They've
forget.
done loads.
Yeah, but the tuck rule is famous, and it clearly a fumble. Unless it's left his hand, it's not an incomplete pass. That was absolute horse crap.
Well, the other one where there was Deflategate, the AFC Championship game of the 2004.
That was just sour grapes. That was a load of crap.
You think so? Well, Tom
Yeah.
Brady wouldn't submit his phone, and I remember the exact wording, because for those of you who, I don't know if anyone cares, so I'll be brief as I can be with my concentration. At halftime in the AFC Championship game, the 2014 season, the Patriots were hosting the Colts, and one of the players passed the ball to a ref, and the ref felt it and thought, that feels a bit odd and a bit squishy. They checked the pressure, and it was considerably below what it should have been. Tom Brady, well, in their so Deflategate was a big thing all the way through the 2 weeks running up to the Super Bowl. It's amazing the Patriots were able to concentrate at all, but they did. And they beat the Seahawks in a miraculous fashion against with Malcolm Butler's interception at the 1 yard line. I mean, we should have lost that game. You get to that point 100 times, then 99 the Seahawks would win. But that was the one time the Patriots did. Happened in this universe somehow. So yeah, get philosophical about rarities like that. But
I'll tell you, the best game I ever saw the Patriots in was their hilarious 18 asterisks and 1 season, where they got all the way to the Super Bowl, and then in the last 2 minutes, Eli Manning drops a sack and tosses a touchdown pass. It was magnificent. I was willing the Patriots to lose that game.
Well, that was beyond tough, but we should have seen it coming.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots had a book 19-0, the path to perfection, already written. I was like,
yeah, it was silly. Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me, what idiots! Well, they'd have had fun pulping those. No, how Deflategate ended was they eventually concluded that it was more probable than not that Brady was at least generally aware of the deflating of footballs. And they did have, I'm pretty sure they had security cam footage from inside Gillette Stadium of the guy going to the balls and then going into the locker room with them. He said he took a toilet break, but he most likely inserted a needle for a couple of seconds into each of the balls. and then that's most likely what happened. And Brady wouldn't submit his phone either. I think it was maybe not the next season, but the season it was going through the courts, and there were so many appeals they hadn't decided the outcome by the next season. The season after that, Brady was suspended for the first 4 games. He came back on fire, and that was the Super Bowl where they came back from 28-3 and beat the Atlanta Falcons. So Brady had the last laugh, and no mistake. But,
I am not against the Patriots. Patriots are a great team. I am anti-Brady. As beautiful as he is, whatever team he's on, I'm like, lose.
I'm anti-Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
that was my favourite thing of the 18-1 season was the memes of Bill Belichick saying to the devil, "What the hell do you mean our deal didn't include the Super Bowl?"
No, it was stupidly, rather from my point of view, really stupidly. I had not prepared any part of my brain for the fact the Patriots might lose. Just like every Patriots fan and seemingly most of the Patriots players, we thought a win was a foregone conclusion. And no part of me was even prepared for the disappointment that they might lose. But
well, it was. I thought they were winning right until the last 5 minutes. Like that. Oh, that 50-yard touchdown pass from Eli Manning was outstanding.
Well, what the problem was, the Patriots were not playing their best in the playoffs. They won They won both their previous games unconvincingly, while the Giants also won unconvincingly, but the odds were against them. I mean, the Patriots, if I remember rightly, the Patriots were 16-0. The Giants were 10-6. They were the 6th seed I think they were the final seed in the playoffs. They just won every game. I remember them beating the Green Bay Packers and things like that. At least I think I do. I think I remember an amazing touchdown from Eli Manning to possibly Hakeem Nicks just before halftime or something like that. But the Giants were playing as well as they could, and as well as they could was enough to just beat the best teams in the NFL, whereas the Patriots should have been trouncing everyone and they were just getting by. So the Giants, and in the last game of the 16-0 regular season, the Patriots only beat the Giants themselves. So it was a rematch, and we should have seen it coming. We certainly should have foreseen a close game coming. It was a great game. I mean, David Tyree's helmet catch is the greatest play in Super Bowl history. I wouldn't deny it. And all credit to the Giants' front 4 played the game of their lives. I can't remember who they all were. I think it was maybe Justin Tuck, Jason. I don't think it was Michael Strahan. I think he was still playing. People like that. They just played unbelievably well. I'd need to look them up, but their front 4 gave Brady hell.
Yeah, it was a good match. I remember it really well.
There was a couple of it was either Justin Tuck or Jason Pierre-Paul or both of them. But I'm not sure either one of them might have still been in college. But I think one of them was Michael Strahan, and they just played. I can't remember who the other defensive end was. That's going to really, really annoy me. So I'm going to have to look it up now. But yeah, all credit to them. The Giants, all credit to them. Yeah. And they did it again in 2011. But that was a really sloppy game. Both teams played awfully for most of the game. But right at the end, the Giants played better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could talk about American football all day, but we are supposed to be talking about other things. You won't mind if we move on to the main topic of the evening?
Yeah, we can follow that up with next week talking about the Super Bowl, which will be 1 day later.
Oh yeah, who's in it this year?
Super Bowl.
Well, the
who's
Super
playing?
Bowl is a week. It's a week tomorrow, and it is the Los Angeles Rams against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Go it's Bengals!
Great for the fans. Bengals have never won. Rams haven't won since Kurt Warner and the incredible 1999 St. Louis Rams. They haven't won a Super Bowl since then. They've lost.
I hope the Bengals win.
Me too. I hope the Bengals win, and that's because of what happened with the Rams and the Saints a
Yeah.
few years ago.
Yeah.
I have
yeah,
a hatred for the Rams now. I just
Yeah.
refuse.
He's throwing an interception in overtime. Screw that. No, they need to lose big time. They need to go down. I'm still angry about it. They knocked
Me
my
too.
Saints out of the Super Bowl.
Right. Well, that you guys are both Saints fans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Interesting fact, the
hell
year
of a
I got
goal.
deported from America was the year they finally won the Super Bowl.
Deported from America.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound nice.
No, it was not fun. And after being a guest at ICE's luxurious detention center / resort, I can honestly say I don't want to do that again.
Oh, I found the name of that player. Of course, it's Osei Umenyiora, who's a commentator for the BBC now and an incredibly charismatic one. And he's a proper commentator. He does a great job. Yeah, it was him. It was Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, and Osei Umenyiora in particular owned Brady. But right, let's move on, Richard. Let's go.
To the Roofman, the most brand loyal burglar I've ever seen. So this chap, this legend of proper outlaw anti-hero, Jeffrey Allen at Manchester, it's a proper name, you know. Could be worse. At least it wasn't Jeffrey Allen Kidderminster. Burn on Kidderminster. It's a real place. It's a shithole, but it's a real place. So this dude exclusively robbed McDonald's.
Okay.
As one does.
As one does. He was a brand out. You might be thinking to yourself, hang on a minute. He's a robber. He holds places up for cash and stuff. Fast food restaurants, is that really the best place to do that? Apparently so. But he, as well as being brand loyal to McDonald's, he also had a very unique MO. He would cut through the roof of the building. And I mean literally cut through.
Okay. What country did this guy do this in?
America.
Okay.
Of course, it's American. What are you talking about?
It's a legend. He was international. He was all over the country. He wasn't just in one state. He hit very.
Well, McDonald's. McDonald's is all over the world, so it could be anywhere.
But apparently he was really nice to the employees. Like I read a thing where it said that like he told them all to get their jackets on and stuff before he locked them in the freezer, and
he was very courteous.
He was very courteous to them.
What does that make him the definition of an anti-hero or something now?
I mean,
no. I'm getting to the anti-hero part, but first, so he used to cut in through the roofs, fiddle about through the vents, and then just drop down in the McDonald's, pull out a gun and be like, hands up, give me all your Big Macs, I guess. But he used to lock all the employees up in either the storeroom or the freezer, and then he take from all the tills and the safe, and then he used to book it. That was his whole MO. He was very courteous, very nice man. He only pistol whipped one employee ever, who was giving him a bit of back talk, and basically did this all over the country for about 5, 6, 7 years, somewhere in that line, late 90s, early 2000s, until he was eventually caught. He was caught robbing a McDonald's. Hubris had gotten the better of him, I'm afraid to say, because he'd robbed a McDonald's just up the road and on the same day, I believe. So they were able to grab him pretty quickly, and he was sent to prison, as one would be. But so unbelievably that he just exclusively robbed McDonald's.
He is the Hamburglar.
He is the Hamburger.
Peculiar and no mistake.
I love it. I think that it's great.
Kevin's in the chat. Hey, Kevin.
Kevin, we love you.
Anyway, so he was captured in 2000, in the year 2000, and he was sent to North Carolina Brown Creek Correctional Institute, Polkton, North Carolina. He was sent for 45 years for various robberies. But this isn't the end of his story, ladies and gentlemen, because this is where it gets good. So he was a model inmate. He really behaved himself, and as such, is anyone who's been inside will tell you, the nicer you treat the guards, the nicer you get treated. I mean, it's not all shankings and ass rapes like it is on TV. It's actually really boring. And if you're really nice, then the guards will be nice to you back. So he got privileges. He managed to get a job in the metalworking shop, and he built himself a nice little sled, like a little sled contraption that he fit underneath a delivery truck. And he spray painted it and to camo it with the bottom of the truck for when they checked it. And then one day, and this is where the ballsy part of his plan is, because he actually escaped from prison 3 times before he really escaped. He went out on the truck for proof of concept, came back in on the truck, made it back to his self-account, and then he did this 2 more times, and then he legged it. So this dude escaped from prison like 3 times, technically.
What? So why didn't he get out the first time when he had the chance?
Probably because he was scouting. You know, he's an ex-military man. He was in the army. He was probably setting up a plan. He had proof of concept. He was planning every little detail out. Smart. So, yeah, smart man. So he gets out of prison and he goes on the run. And he ends up in... Okay, you can't make this shit up, right? He sets up camp in a Toys R Us.
Okay.
You remember, we're all of a certain age. We all remember Toys R Us stores, right? They
Absolutely.
used to be really big. Used to have loads of shelves and bikes and stuff. And I don't know, when I was a kid, me and my brother used to play hide and seek in them. And that's what that was this dude's logic. He found himself a nice little nook in this Toys R Us, and he set up camp there. He literally lived in this store. He used to come out at night, play with remote controls. He lived on a diet of baby food that they had in the shop. And I just think that's brilliant. And they think it was because he was changing his MO. He was going to rob the Toys R Us. Mm-hmm. But he set up shop there and then he got involved in his local community. Like he started speaking at the church. He had a girlfriend. It was insane. But it's true what they say, that if you're brazen enough, you can get away with anything.
True.
And after a while, he got bored of his little shelf in the Toys R Us, so he tunneled through the wall to an abandoned Circuit City next door. And he built himself like a proper little bachelor pad. Like, there were Spider-Man posters on the wall, had like a makeshift bed, a bunch of toys nicked from Toys R Us.
Huh.
It was like a proper bachelor's pad where he stayed and he lived while he was casing the Toys R Us. And incidentally, he was also giving away toys to the church giveaways. I couldn't find out anything more than that, but I think it's pretty obvious where he got those toys from. So he tries to rob the Toys R Us. It goes completely tits up. 2 of the employees get away. The police are there in minutes. He's arrested again, and he's currently serving, the original 45 years plus an additional 10 for a prison break and attempted robbery.
He did it wrong. I mean, yeah. I understand this was a while ago, but man, if I had to do something like that, I would just hole up in an IKEA. Have you been to an IKEA? Those things are like a mile long, 10 million different, little subtunnels to go through to make it from point A to point B. There are entire apartments and stuff that are set up in like 500 square foot areas.
I think if you're gonna try the ridiculous idea of camping out in one store, IKEA would be your least worst place to do it. I think you've got the best chance of staying here for as long as possible.
Well,
I've set
not
up
only
shop
that,
in
but
Walmart.
food. They have restaurants inside of IKEA.
Yeah, that's true.
They have restaurants inside of
Walmart.
IKEA. Walmart,
I'm telling you, Walmart.
Walmart's not big enough.
You wouldn't have much of a life, though. I mean, what did this guy do during the day? I mean,
he talked to his community, went to church, had a girlfriend.
Had a girlfriend. Oh, so I got it wrong. He didn't get arrested at the scene. He managed to escape. They got him because his girlfriend turned him in. I'm sorry. That's what happened there. Sorry, forgot that.
What a horrible woman.
Well, she had a kid. She didn't want to face accessory charges.
I would just say I didn't know anything about it.
Mm.
Unless it was on my phone. And then I'd be like,
Well, she had been dating a fugitive.
So?
And at that point, and during his time on the run
somebody?
No, he was just a robber.
Then who cares?
So, yeah, exactly, Gabby. Walmart's open 24/7. You got freedom there.
That's very true. But he drilled a hole in a Staples, so I'm sure that he could get in even if the store was closed.
True enough. I think where he went wrong was his shit where he ate. He shouldn't have robbed the place he was living. Should have gone back to McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
It's taken me a few seconds to, for want of a better word, digest that charming metaphor you just gave for us. He shit where he ate.
You've never heard that expression?
And I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Oh man, I have a friend who is always dating girls within like our friend circle.
Ugh.
And I'm constantly telling him not to shit where he eats.
Yeah,
and something always goes bad. Yeah. And then they leave and we don't get to hang out with them anymore because for some reason, we knew them first, so they think they need to leave.
Yeah, I mean, you don't date waitresses from your favorite restaurant. You don't date friends in your circle of friends. There's just some things you don't do, and that's shitting where you eat.
Right.
I get you guys now.
Yeah.
So, Nikki, this person who does this, is this in the real world or online or what?
Yes. It's online. Because you've seen the gaming group. We're a tight-knit group. But we all play a game together. Well, not all of us. Most of us play a game together, and we have a group in that gang, like a clan, or in that game, and we hang out together all the time. And anytime a new girl comes in, he's right on him. So it's become a thing. I call him the community bicycle. Everybody gets a ride.
Oh.
You might have met him, Andreas, my beautiful Mexicant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's him, is it? Oh,
yeah.
I wonder. Well, I wasn't going to ask.
Oh yeah,
he is awesome, but he is a man whore.
He is absolutely. I adore him, but he a hoe.
But he is awesome. Anyway, so awesome. Yeah, that's the gripping tale of the Roofman. I think we've missed something. Oh yeah, when he got out, when the police tried nabbing him at the Toys R Us and he escaped, he burned down his dentist's office to try and make it so they couldn't trace his dental records. Because he didn't want. They suspected it was him, but they didn't know for sure. Unfortunately, he'd left like a bunch of fingerprints behind at the Circuit City house he was living. So, yeah. So that's what makes him an anti-hero, was the prison break and the fact that he set up shop in a Toys R Us.
I freaking love that. Man, he could have had he probably had the newest game consoles and all the games. Sounds beautiful.
Dude actually lived in a Toys R Us back when that was a thing.
Isn't that the dream, though?
It was a dream when we were kids.
Right?
God, I think you know, if I remember rightly, you used to go and get you'd buy a game from Toys R Us, and it would be in this sort of massive thick plastic packaging with a security tag on it. Well, a copy of, I think, the first Super Mario Brothers game, still in that packaging, went for some obscene sum at an auction recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But even more surprisingly, much later, you know, that would have come out in the mid-80s. Within my memory of games, if any of us, if we bought Super Mario 64, if we had thought to buy a second copy sealed and still have it with us and then sell it on the open auction it today, whoever one of us did that would get £1 million
Wow.
Easy.
for a sealed copy of Mario 64 on the N64, which is about just over 20 years old.
Not just that. You remember those old Turtles toys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys, that
of course.
you could turn from the adult Turtles to the baby Turtles? They're worth a mint now. And I had Michelangelo and Raphael when I was a kid.
Oh, they were great, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I love them. I tell you, when I recently got my Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro, which is a retro console thing. Long story short, this little community were able to make literally a massive zip file that you would put on a USB stick. And if you stick that in the back of the USB port on the Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro, it's a hack that that just includes loads and loads of arcade games you can play on this stick device thing. And it's, officially, it's compact digital version, emulated version of loads of Neo Geo games that were really expensive in the 1990s. But this thing has got all of them and loads of arcade games. And the only one I really play is Turtles. I can play Turtles to my heart's content now without having to put another 10p in the slot. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of that.
Great, wasn't it?
The MAME emulator. Yeah, you can download that now, and you can get all them arcade games. I got the Simpsons and Turtles.
Oh.
I've never found a working version of the Star Wars trilogy, but
do you mean the one with those green lines? The one that was built up. Wasn't that wonderful?
That was such a good one.
That was. Do you remember? I don't know if you know that, Niki. There was this Star Wars game that you could play at the arcades, and all the 3D graphics were rendered in. They were silhouettes, but every edge to the shape was made out of a thin green luminescent line, and the whole or often red, but everything was made of polygons that were all jet black. Every face was jet black, but the edges were all glowing this red. But it worked beautifully somehow, didn't it, Richard?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not explaining it very well, but I mean the whole screen is just completely black. But every shape, everything on the screen, for every laser, every ship, everything, you've just got the outlines. You've just got the outlines of everything only, and all in black. And everything's in black, but just with these luminescent, glowing outlines. It just looked wonderful. It really pushed the technology at the time, I think. Yeah. Oh, I found that Mario 64. It was $1.5 million.
Holy cow!
Honestly, I'll post the link.
Everyone had that. That's
I didn't have a 64. See, you guys come from a place of privilege. I think I've been to Toys R Us twice or three times in my life, and hardly ever was it for me, and most of it was in my semi-adult life. So I knew all of I know what it looks like. I know how Toys R Us's are laid out, but at the end of the day, I never had that experience of going into Toys R Us and being excited because they were always way too expensive for my broke butt. So I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I stopped at a Super Nintendo, and I have always been at least one one version behind in any console I get, at least. I think I have a PS3, and I'll get a PS4 when they're down at like $99 for a refurbished one, and then I'll just buy all the games I want for about $5 a piece.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
super cheap. That's what happens when you grow up poor.
What games are you? So, what's the last couple of games that you actually bought?
For the PlayStation,
Yeah.
the Kingdom Hearts trilogy, I think was the last thing that I bought. Like all of the Kingdom Hearts in like a CD set. Which, if you haven't played them with your boys, they're wonderful.
They are the greatest. They are possibly the best action RPGs ever made.
I don't know if they'd be able to. An action RPG would be their sort of thing. I mean, they're 10 and 12. My 10-year-old really he wouldn't be built for that. Dan maybe, but he's still, to be honest, in FIFA and Lego Star Wars territory. And he's just.
It would be fine. I mean, Kingdom Hearts is so basically. Do you know what Kingdom Hearts is?
I do not. Sorry.
Okay, so they take Disney and Final Fantasy characters and they mush them together, and basically you're running through different Disney places. So you have like the Little Mermaid, Halloween Town from Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's basically geared towards children, but adults have a great time too. It's awesome. My nephews have been playing since they were like 7.
Yeah.
So they're really great games. They're geared towards kids, but it's also like adults love the crap out of it. They're really amazing games. And if you haven't played them, I would highly suggest it. Your boys will love it, especially if they like Disney movies.
Okay. Right. Blimey, they're not terribly expensive either. Kingdom Hearts 3 is okay, that's going on the CX wish list. You know that shop I love.
Get the first one.
Yeah.
You have to play them in order.
Okay.
Yeah, the first two. The third one's not as good.
Not that it matters, honestly, because I'm just going to tell you straight up that if you play all of them, the timeline and everything is a huge jumbled mess.
Well, the problem is the 3 main games aren't just the only games. There's a bunch of other games that, convolute the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like between
But
1
the
and
main
2,
games are
there's
great.
like 3 different games.
Mm-hmm.
An entire card game.
Mm-hmm.
Dan's got a PlayStation 4, and I don't think that's particularly backwards compatible.
No.
I don't know if I could play Kingdom Hearts 1 on that, can I?
Yeah.
You might be able to. I don't know. I bought mine for Kingdom Hearts. I bought the trilogy, and it plays on my PlayStation 3. I know you have a PS4, but you would think maybe. If not, you can absolutely get an emulator.
Yeah, you can probably. Well, the first one, it was on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you should be able to play it. And if not, you can get an emulator on your PlayStation, your current one, to play it.
Exactly. That would probably be one to download. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So well, did I have anything sensible to say? One. So I've got 2 thoughts in my mind at once, and they're both vying for supremacy. The games I play the most at the moment, and I just really, really love them, are the Metal Slug run and gun shoot 'em ups on the Neo Geo. They're really, really old, but they're so much fun, so enjoyable, and some of the music and the soundtracks to them are brilliant. There's one bit of music, I don't know how it didn't make it into James Bond. It's so Bond-like and really cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm so retro in my gaming. It's ridiculous. I'm pitiful. I'm sure that Richard, how come you haven't abused me for that yet? For my, pitiful.
I've got more than enough things to abuse you about, Tom.
1990s world of Mega Drive games and VHS tapes.
I don't need to punch low-hanging fruit. There's thousands of things I can take the piss out of you for.
No doubt. Oh.
Alrighty, well, I think that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. Kevin says he might be back next week. We hope so. If not, Tom, are you free?
I thought you were gonna. Richard, you missed a chance to abuse me. I mean, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you come out with something like, "If so, I suppose we'll be, resigned to inviting Tom yet again," or something like that? Or you have to endure his monotonous tones for yet another hour. I mean,
I love
all of
it.
those opportunities were begging, and you missed them. Damn it!
You can keep talking to me, Tom. That's fine. I like your accent.
It's late, I'm tired, and I feel like being nice. It's a good show.
Aw, Pumpkin. Hey, he's coming around, Tom.
Kidding.
You've worn him down.
Oh, bless.
That's totally what's happened.
That's the best compliment I've had for a long time. Thank you, Richard. Bye-bye.
Yeah. It's good night from me, and it's good night from these two idiotic loser faces.
Good night.
Just go
Night, people.
Sox.